All right, so today I had a discussion with one of my friends, and I was trying to explain how basically we are all a piece of God, right? And so she was saying that she believes, oh, I have 115 miles and it's 11:15. And so she was saying that, God created our souls and all of this stuff, which I'm not knocking that, but it pushes the illusion of disconnection. And that's what keeps, like, part of that is what keeps humans in an enslaved mindset. And so basically we are all an interconnected web. We are all basically a tree with the root being God. That is where we all form. And so to help y'all with this, I made a lovely illustration. And so basically at the very, very top, obviously you have what we call source, or you have God. And then you have that split down into the one beneath it, right? And that is the divine masculine and the divine feminine. That is the highest of the high. That is all of the souls have merged. And now there's two beings left at the top. The masculine, the divine masculine energy, and the feminine energy. And so then we break this down, and this is just a rough dramatization, but basically as the dimensions go down, it splits until you have the billions and billions and billions of life forms. And we're just talking about Earth. We're not even talking about other places right now, because we're just talking about Earth right now, right? And so basically, what is the goal of stepping up each dimension? It's basically union. Like, the goal is union. And so as all of these souls come into union down here, they graduate, they move up a level. And then what do they have to do when they move up a level? They have to try to help themselves from the past, or themselves from the lower dimensions, try to elevate their consciousness, right? And so that's why you see like angel numbers 222. That's why you see like angel numbers. You hear the ringing in your ear, because yourself on these higher dimensions are now trying to go back and send you help, because that's part of their task, so that they can graduate. But basically on each level, the souls are coming into union. And on each level, there's less and less souls because they're coming into union. Now, in these higher dimensions, that is where you have all of your deities, Odin, Ra, freaking, Athena, like that kind of stuff. And then, the seraphim, like all of the, like the high ranking angels and stuff. As you get to the higher dimensions, that's where all of them are going to reside. But basically, the higher dimensions you go, the fewer and fewer souls you are going to have there, because the main objective is union. And so basically, you ask why. Basically, God is forever expansive. God is eternal, and therefore so are we, and so are all of our souls. And basically, as God, as being this almighty being that's just sitting pretty much in its own dimension, just chilling 24/7, it gets boring. And so what does God do? Recurringly, which is why if you've been following me, you'll hear me say we've all lived these lifetimes before. You just don't remember it. And so basically, God will split itself between everybody, create everything, create a world pretty much in its own little bubble, or worlds in their own little bubbles, and basically go from being the almighty being to being lost without direction. And basically the goal is to ascend back into this almighty being. And that basically goes on endlessly. Like this cycle goes on for eternity, because God is eternal, God is everlasting. And so the problem down here on this level is what you would call the devil, or dark energy, low vibrational consciousness. basically they want the separation. There are people that have the knowledge, 444. There are people that have the knowledge down here, and they are operating in that lower vibrational consciousness, and their goal is to keep people down here. They do not want the ascension of everybody, because then that leads to a higher vibrational earth. They thrive and they get paid off of the separation that occurs down here. And so basically what you have is you have the higher dimensions, the higher consciousness trying to push down and reach down and wake people the fuck up. And so when you have ascended masters, when you have star seeds, these are beings that have traversed this system with ease. These are beings that have come here, and during their lifetimes they have ascended with ease. And so Earth is not the only system like this. God has many other systems just like this one, with this whole situation going on. And basically, when places are struggling, like Earth is one of the biggest places that struggle with ascending consciousness because of the forces of darkness that live here, 555. Basically, what God will do is God will put out a message, and God will be like, hey, yo, the humans on Earth, they need help. Like, who's willing to go and help them go through their ascension process? And that would be your star seeds. And so star seeds, they do come from the same source, right? They come from the same source, but they are not of the same human collective consciousness. So whenever you see somebody saying that they are a star seed, they are different than the like 98, 99% of people that are down here on Earth. Like, as star seeds, we do not usually fit in typically with humans. We don't act the same as humans because we are a different consciousness. We come from a place that has already done this, that has already evolved, and it's easy. So ascended masters like myself, basically they are people that come down to Earth, and they basically go through life and they ascend, right? They reach Christ consciousness level. And because it's so easy for them, God sends them to all sorts of different planets, if you will, all sorts of different closed systems. And basically their goal is to help everybody ascend. And their goal is to help everybody reach Christ consciousness. Now, people always talk about the stuff that Jesus did, and a lot of people, and this is kind of the problem that I have with church, is not, churches really aren't teaching people how to elevate and reach the state known as Christ consciousness that Jesus was in, right? That is the point where God is using you as a literal vessel, and God is giving you the ability to use his powers through your vessel. That is what Jesus was doing, 808. He was in the state known as Christ consciousness. And the goal isn't just to follow Jesus and be like Jesus. The goal is to make every single person, every single human being, a Christ conscious, operating, activated individual. Kind of like an assimilation of sorts, but with God being, you know, the host. Basically, the goal of life, the goal for everyone, is to elevate and basically connect with their higher versions of themselves, and ultimately connect with source. And so think of how society acts today. That's because most people are not connected with God. Most people are not connected with their higher selves. Most people are disconnected. And if everybody was connected with source, we would live in a very different society. We would live in a completely different society, a very different society. And so I did feel the need. I was sitting here and I was thinking about this, and God was like, Jordan, go ahead and make an illustration. Go ahead and make a video. Go ahead and talk about this real quick. And yeah, I just wanted to give y'all a little I guess a little lesson on that. And so yeah, I don't know. Y'all friggin' let me know what y'all think. But much love to everybody, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. So I actually just remembered something, and don't mind, I had put this away, so it kind of like erased some of the stuff. But now when you're looking at the system like this, and basically you see how connected we are, and you see that basically all the souls connect upward into what is essentially a giant tree, now you start looking at it different, because now you realize that you are a piece of God, that you are not separate, that you are not a separate entity from God. You are literally just a division. You are a sub-chapter of source energy. And here we have the illusion of being human, but we are not human beings. We are souls living in a human body, having a human experience. But none of this is real. Like even though we can feel everything, even though we can touch everything, even though we can, you know, see, taste everything, none of this is real. This is all what God created just to experience itself. 111, because it's a new video. 111. So this is basically God playing God, witnessing God, playing human, experiencing things as a human, as God. Like this board, God. The markers, God. This car I'm sitting in, God. The phone that I'm recording on, God. Everything down here is literally God, bro. And so you basically have to go from living in an egoic mindset, which is I am a human being, I am, you know, this person, whatever, to transcending that and being like, I am a soul in a human body, and I am here to basically create, right? Because God is a creator, we're made in his image. So we are supposed to create. We are supposed to take what's in our soul and bring it out into the world, and that is going to help the world move in the right direction. And so now, once you start looking at it, you can see why the powers at the top, the people that have been in control for so long, you can see why they wouldn't want people knowing the truth. Because a person that realizes the connection to God, a person that realizes that they aren't just a piece of God, or a person that realizes that they're not just a human, they're not just a creation of God, but that they are a fragment of God, that they are God, that is when you really start to achieve power. That is when, because humans at their peak form, humans are very, very powerful. And they will have you believe otherwise, but you literally create, you speak things into existence. Everything that you pull from inside of you out into the world is magic, essentially. It's creation energy. And they don't want people to see the truth of everything. They don't want people to view themselves as a piece of God. And 333, as I'm saying this, that's why specifically they'll tell you to look out for people that have a God complex. Look out for people that have a God complex. Now, if this is egoic and you're sitting here and you're like, I'm fucking God, like I can do whatever the fuck I want. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about soul level recognition that you are a piece of the creator. And I'm getting a phone call, so I'm going to take that as confirmation. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Let me know what y'all think. And if you're just going to comment on my video and say a bunch of bullshit, I'm just going to respond equally with that energy. So y'all have a blessed day.